Vaibhav. In today's session of Visual JForex, I will be demonstrating to you the use of indicator block loop viewer. This is one of the important components in the toolkit of our Visual JForex board, and we can utilize this to set certain conditions which would otherwise not be possible if we were to use the single variable. This is an array of data. Those who are well familiar with the trading terminology would easily understand it, but even if you are not familiar with the trading, array of data is like a tray of data, or you can, for example, if we were to take from a real life situation, it is like a cluster of multiple things, and you can think of it like it is holding multiple values, and we are going to use any particular value with any particular characteristic at a given period of time, and this component makes our job easier. You will find it listed among the logical blocks. It is here, loop viewer. Now we head to the Visual JForex board developed by Dukascopy Bank SA, using which we can design and develop the algorithms to trade on the CFD as well as the currency crosses, forex instruments as well as stock CFDs. Now to initialize the system, as you are aware, we can use any of the three starting points, and this is an easy to understand if you look at its functioning. This is an array of data. Here we have to take any particular variable or any particular data input data point, and for that, now to explain to you what we can do with this array of data component, we can use these three options. We have to provide the input value, and the input value can be of three types only: positions, candles, and signals, and using that we will get the output value. Now here, if we were to create a new variable, let's make a new variable. We will first try working with the signal component. So we name it SIG signal C. Okay, signal component, and here we have to change its data type, and we have to make it signal. Here it is. We work with the signals mainly when we are utilizing any prior combination of various indicators and the components to design and generate the signals only, not the trades, and then those signals can be used in this array of data to further drill down and see and search for any particular component of that signal processing. So here we have now taken the input value signal, and we will get the output value. We name it as signal component output SCO. Okay, so we got now the input was provided this signal. We created one variable named signal and signal IC, and then we are getting these output values, and here we have signal position, and all these intricate details can now be accessed because of these loop viewer, which would otherwise not be possible. So all the options we get to further utilize in furthering our development of the algorithm. If there is any single position, we can access these data points and design and develop, set the conditions, and design and develop the algorithm. Now one more possibility is of using the other data points, for which also I will try to explain with the help of example. And let us take three loop viewers to make sure that we deal with all three possibilities of array of data. One is going to be the candle and one is going to be the position. So what we do is we take one info block as well, historical candles, get historical candles, okay. And for positions, though we haven't really designed any algorithm so far, but till we haven't explained, we haven't really seen the use of trading component. But right now, to explain you better, I will be using this, and then in coming session at appropriate time we will also be looking at this open and market block individual functioning. We have already seen the functioning of get historical candles block. Now what we do is we first arrange this, okay. End of the cycle. Now we have to take it in the loop here, so we continue and then we join all these blocks one by one. Once we set the trade conditions, and whenever those conditions are met, the trade will happen and then the position will be generated. That position then can be used further down the line in the array of data for monitoring it, and if any particular component is met, then we can close it, partially close it, or we can change the stop loss or any other component. So we have to now take this one flow and the loop should continue. So here we are. First I will explain to you what we can do with the candle. Now even in yesterday's, not yesterday's, I think a couple of sessions back, when we were looking at the get historical candles, even in that session I had included the loop viewer block. So whenever we want to access the multiple data points generated by these get historical candles, we have to use the loop viewer. And what loop viewer does is it gives us individual components of this cluster of candles. We are looking at 5 candles cluster. And if you want to access their individual data points, then that can be done only with the help of loop viewer. So we name it historical candle cluster HCC. Okay, and the data type is candle. We have saved it. Now let us go to the HCC, and you can then access all these individual data points of the historical candles: candle high, candle open, candle close, candle low, and all other data points. And if you want to set the conditions, you can use these components. Similarly, for the position also, if any position is open in the market, we can do its monitoring with the help of this loop viewer component. What we do is we will name it as SCP. Okay, so we have generated the position now. And we can it's not supporting, so we can't really put that. we will have to create new individual variable. Okay, and we name it LVP, and here then we put it in array of data point, and we name the output as accessible LVP. LVP, okay. Now I have done it for example only, but my whole point is that when we use the loop viewer, we can go into the individual components. Now this is a directly created variable, so we are not going to see much difference. But when we are using the cluster of positions, which suppose if you have multiple positions open in your account and you want to use any particular characteristic of any position, then the loop viewer comes handy, and in those circumstances it will do its job, and all these individual components become available to us to do the monitoring, and if the need arises, close or cancel it or modify any particular order associated with it, for example the stop loss or the target price. So all these individual data points for that position we can utilize to further our objective of making more profit. So that's it from my side for today's session, and I hope you have been able to get the glance of this functionality of loop viewer. But you will have to do the practice on your own. This is not a full setup. I am only trying to demonstrate to you how we can utilize this loop viewer. So you try to create a bare bone structure using say a couple of indicator blocks, and giving it position open orders also, and then using that structure we can try to test the functionality of loop viewer also. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.